Good evening. As we read through the Gospels, and as I've read through the Gospels time and time again, there are some things that I look at and I read that just kind of leave me scratching my head a bit. Some of the teachings of Jesus that seem a bit strange at first glance, and I'm wondering to myself, what exactly is Jesus trying to teach the people here? What is Jesus trying to teach us here as his disciples? And one of those passages that left me confused for a while can be found in Matthew chapter 12. In Matthew chapter 12, Jesus is kind of going back and forth with these Jews demanding signs from him, but aren't really faithful to him. And he's pointing out their evil and wicked intentions. And in verse 43, he says this to them, a sort of parable, I guess. Matthew 12, beginning in verse 43. Now, when the unclean spirit goes out of a man, it passes through waterless places, seeking rest, and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when it comes, it finds it unoccupied, swept, and put in order. Then it goes and takes along with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the last state of that man becomes worse than the first. That is the way it will also be with this evil generation. I read this and I'm saying, what is Jesus trying to teach with a parable like this? Well, he presents a picture of a demon possessed man who is finally cleansed of this evil within him, of this sin within him, and he's finally free from this burden. But this man does not fill his life with anything else. There's this void that's left from the wickedness leaving, but that void remains until the demon eventually comes back, see that it's still empty for him to occupy. And it says that the present state is worse than the previous because he comes back with more. Jesus is saying, even though you remove sin from your life, if you don't fill yourself with something to replace that, something beneficial, then eventually you'll be drawn back into those sinful habits. And it'll eventually even be worse than when you're trying to rid yourself of it. We need to fill ourselves with something. When I was thinking through this talk, it reminded me of people recovering from some kind of addiction or substance abuse. Most people don't usually just go straight to cold turkey because what happens is they have that void and they might quickly fall back into their same ways. But one method they use is substitution. They put aside this harmful habits and they fill it with something that doesn't harm them. I had a friend in high school and college who was very much addicted to chewing tobacco, and he was trying to get off of it for years, but he eventually got into chewing gum, and that was a substitute. He filled something to help him not return back to his old ways. This is how we need to handle sin in our lives. If there is a sin that has been plaguing us for years and years and we're trying to rid ourselves of it, we remove it from our lives, we can't just be telling ourselves, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I don't know the psychology behind it, but if you're constantly repeating yourself, don't do this, avoid this, you get drawn to that. Instead of saying, don't do this, you rather need to say, do this instead. Find something good to fill your life with. When you remove sin in your life, replace it with a good habit instead. Fill your life with the works of the Spirit. Jesus expects his disciples to not only avoid sin, but go out of their way to do good in their life, to be generous to people around them, to be merciful, to be patient, to be kind and compassionate. All sorts of things that we've been talking about in the Sermon on the Mount. So I want to ask you, what are you filling your life with? Is your life still full of sin and you're struggling to remove it? Are you struggling to fill the void of that loss of sin with something good? Something that we can do to help us in this process, to look at the example of Jesus, who served as someone who filled their life with good. When he walked this earth to live a perfect life and live as an example for us, what did he do to the people around him? He showed compassion. He showed care for them. He served them. He taught them and he loved them. We need to fill our life with the works of the Spirit and the works of Jesus. Jesus died so that you could be cleansed of your sin, so that you can remove that evil from your life and fill it with good and to be fully transformed. If you desire to remove the sin from your life, to be transformed, if you wish to be baptized this evening, you can come forward now. If there's anything we can do for you or pray for you in your process of transforming, of becoming good, please let us know now as we stand and sing this invitation song.